So I raked my yard all day.
Really?
The grubs decided to eat on my lawn this year.
Ah, that was very nice of them.
I tell you what, I'm gonna dig them up and use them for bait.
There you go. Hello, everyone. We just went live. We're going to give everyone a minute or two to jump on with us. Today's topic is going to be sexual assault awareness, because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that tonight. As you're jumping on and joining us, feel free to put any questions into the comments. You could also, if you're watching the replay of this during the week, feel free to ask any questions you'd like inside the comments as well. We'll be sure to respond and get back to everyone. As you're jumping on, feel free to say hello to us. Love to see where you're checking in from. So, Scott, what's the weather like in Connecticut?
Well, yesterday was 30-something and rainy and cold and nasty, and today was like 60. But that wind. Once that sun went down, holy mac! So I was up on a ladder painting my chimney or painting the side of my house.
Right.
This is what happens when I go to work all week. I come home and do all this other work around the house. So I'm up in a ladder and it's freaking freezing. So spent a day at the farm. We rented two plots at the farm, so we're gonna grow veggies there this year and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say I from Florida. How are you?
Well,
Thanks for checking in.
How's the weather in Florida?
I think they got snow. I think they're getting snow. But we had almost 60. It was about 58 degrees here today. A lot of the ice is melting on the lake. About a couple hundred yards from me on the left, you can see open water, but it hasn't gotten in front of us yet. But a lot of bald eagles flying around out there today. It was beautiful. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Snow in Florida. Patrick, how are you, Patrick? Good to see you online. Hope all is well. All right, guys. So tonight we're going to be discussing sexual assault awareness and talking about some statistics and some safety tips and self-defense tips. We're going to talk a little bit about it tonight, and we're going to continue on with the conversation next week as well. We're also going to be doing a lecture, sexual assault awareness lecture that's going to be happening before the end of the month, where you're going to be able to log on, and we'll kind of break everything down for you, statistic-wise, safety tips and self-defense in one lecture online. Again, we'll be posting that really soon as well. Hot and humid in Florida. Wow.
Oh, lucky.
Lucky. Oh.
I'd take that. I would take that right now over this. It's cold one day, nice the next, cold the next, hot the next. I can't deal with it.
Well, you got mud season up here, so everything is just, deep and digging in, right? Well, Patrick's, he sent a good 200 plus rounds of 940 and 50. So it's still going around with getting some more rounds going, huh? Hard at work there, Patrick. Teresa is a registered nurse in the COVID unit, and she's healthy so far. Teresa, thank you for your service and for your dedication. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you jumping online tonight and saying hello. So we really appreciate what you're doing. You guys are on the front lines.
Keep fighting. Keep fighting.
Absolutely. We're going to get through this, guys. Hopefully we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So we're going to put some statistics up on the screen here for you guys to take a look at and start our conversation about sexual assault awareness. And feel free, guys, at any time to put comments or ask questions in the chat box, in the comments box that we have on both Facebook and our YouTube channel. And if you're on one Facebook channel, you put a comment, you're not going to see it on the other Facebook. So we'll try to put some of the comments up here live on the screen so you can see it, but we'll try to get to all of them. So feel free to put those comments in at any time while we're having this conversation. But let's go up with the first slide here. So everyone is affected by sexual violence. Every 73 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted. 1 out of every 6 American women has been a victim of an attempted or completed rape in her lifetime. That's insane, right? 14.8% completed, 2.8% attempted. About 3% of American men, or 1 in 33, have experienced an attempted or completed rape in their lifetime. From 2009, 2013, Child Protective Services Agency sustained and found strong evidence to indicate that 63,000 children a year were victims of sexual abuse. 63,000 a year. A majority of child victims are between the ages of 12 and 17. Of victims under the age of 18, 34% of victims of sexual assault and rape are under age 12, and 66% of victims of sexual assault and rape are age 12 to 17. 12 to 17. I don't like those numbers.
No.
I don't like those numbers at all, guys.
No, it's horrible.
Let me bring on this other statistic so that we can look at that, and then we'll go to we'll go over here and get a little bit more of a conversation about this, right? Let's see. Here's the other statistic. So 48%, when these sexual assaults happen, 48% were sleeping or performing another activity at home. So 48% were inside of their home, feeling safe, and this incident occurred. 29% were traveling to and from work or school, or traveling to shop or run errands. 12% were working, 7% were attending school, and 5% were doing an unknown or other activity, right? So let's talk about this first one, 48%. So almost 50% of sexual assaults occur inside of a home, apartment, right, where you live. 29% were traveling to and from work. So that could have meant that they stopped someplace on their way to or from work. Could have been in a parking garage. It could have been they stopped at the supermarket, but they were outside of their home and they were traveling someplace when it happened, right? 12% were working, right? And we talk about a lot of times in our sexual assault prevention seminars, Scott, about a coworker maybe at a holiday party being intoxicated, cornering you someplace in a room where maybe you're private and you're away from everybody else, and ways to try to de-escalate things and get away from that individual, and also how to be physical to get away from that person as well, is something that we cover, because it's pretty, it happens a lot at work, a lot more than people think, right?
That's right. And I'll never forget the defense you showed me for that.
The one that I demonstrate on you all the time.
Yeah, that one.
That's the being polite defense too.
That is.
That's the. Yeah. I'm stuck in a confined space, but I'm behind a door. I open up a door, and there's 200 people at a holiday party. I know my egress. I know my way out. There's just a way to create that opportunity to get away from this individual. Even though, what do I always say? If someone is forcing themselves upon you and they're not taking no for an answer, they deserve the scar you're about to give them, right?
Yes.
But some people, maybe it's a boss, maybe it's a coworker, they don't feel comfortable, hitting that person and creating damage to that person. So it just gives them an opportunity and an option to hopefully get away from them, right?
It's a great technique, great pressure point technique. Yes.
Yeah. Jennifer, how are you? Thanks for saying hello. Good to see you online. 5mm. Good evening. Thanks for saying hello. Appreciate you jumping on with us. Michelle. Yep. Michelle loves that technique too, especially when she gets to do it to you, Scott, right?
Yeah.
Do the pressure points.
Doesn't matter who you are, it brings you to your knees every time.
Absolutely. Patrick says that those who assault sexually should suddenly suffer a sudden lead poisoning. Just saying. Right? Yeah, I could agree with that. My mindset that if someone is assaulting you, especially if it's in a date rape type of scenario, or someone is coming on to you not taking no for an answer, and you decide that you're going to elbow them across the face and create a scar on their head, they deserve that scar. It's something they can look in the mirror every day for the rest of their life and say, you know what, I screwed with the wrong person that day, and maybe it's going to make them think twice about doing that type of action again. So I think the scar is great. I also say it's a great identifier, right? So if something does happen and someone is being forceful upon you and you elbow them across the head or create some type of damage to their face and markings, after that person leaves the house because they don't want to get beat up by you anymore, and you call 911 and the police respond, you can say, oh, well, he's got a cut across his forehead. Here's his testicles and here's a part of his eyeball inside of my my fingernails, right? So you can catch him. I think that's important.
Right. And you know what? If that happens, go ahead and call the police. Make a complaint. Go ahead. We can go that way too, if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, how are you, Steve? Thanks for saying hello. Steve says, what's up, Scott? Hope you and the family are staying healthy. Right?
Thank you too. Hope you are too, man.
So we're talking right now, guys, about Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Is the month of April. With everything that's been going on, it's kind of been not so highlighted as much as I like to highlight it during the month of April. But we're having a conversation today online, and we will continue to have this conversation next Sunday. We just displayed a couple of statistics about the amount of people that are sexually assaulted inside their home, and we're almost at 50%, right? And that's just a huge number. So what are some things that you were able to do to be able to deal with these types of things, or let's even before the deal, let's talk about what prevention. What are some things you could do to help stop these incidents from happening, right? And some of it is just going to be making your home harder to get into. Now, trust me, I understand that some of these sexual assaults happen because it's the end of a date, right? It could be an acquaintance. It could be someone that you invited inside your home, friends. It could be a worker that has come inside of your home to do repair work, or a contractor. But let's talk about the person that is as for whatever reason picked you as their target, and they saw you in the grocery store. They followed you home. Or they know where you live, and they plan to get inside of your home. Make it difficult for them to get in, right? So lock your doors. Make sure that your windows are sealed around your home, even when it's nice outside and you want a little bit of a breeze and it's the middle of summer. Your air conditioner isn't running, but you want to get the fresh air inside of your home. Put some type of locking mechanism on your windows, so that if someone comes from the outside of your window and tries to open it to get in, they can't breach that window and get to the inside. Make sure that you're arming your alarm at night. And there's two folds to the things that help with that. Is that if your alarm is armed, and someone that does this as their profession, right? Because there's serial rapists out there. There are people that this is what they do, right? They work during the day, and they sexual assault at night, or same thing with robbers and others. Is their career, right? This is what they do. If they walk up to your home and they look inside your home and they see your alarm panel and they see that light is red, that's an indicator right there that there's an alarm inside the home, and it's probably going to make them think twice about entering inside of your home, right? Two is that alarm. You have different settings on alarm panels, so you could set your alarm to go off where just the doors are armed, but the interior motion sensors are not. It's called the stay feature or instant feature inside your home panel and your alarm system. Find out how that works. Make sure it's operational. If it's not operational, or you're not sure how it works, call your alarm company and figure that out, so that you can arm your alarm while you're home. Scott, you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, and definitely put the stickers on the windows. Put the stickers on the back windows. Put the stickers on the front window as a deterrent, and put the little yard sign out or whatever. It's just a heads up. It might make that person say and think, oh crap, it's an alarm or whatever.
Right.
So it's not bad to put the stickers on the windows, ADT or whatever alarm system you have.
Absolutely. Hey, Jeff. Jeff says hello. Thanks for joining us tonight, Jeff. Appreciate you jumping online. Teresa, you trained with Sam and Steve out in St. Louis. Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you jumping on and joining us tonight for our conversation. And if you guys have any questions for us while you're watching tonight's stream, feel free to put them in the comments, and they'll come across our screen here, and we'll try to get to as many of those questions as possible. I know we have people on both of our Facebook pages and on our YouTube channel. So if you're making a comment on one Facebook, it may not go to the other, and obviously YouTube's not going to see it. So we'll try to get through these and sort through these the best that we can throughout our conversation here today. So we're talking about ways to harden your home, make it more difficult for people to enter inside your home. And Scott, great idea with getting those stickers on the windows, so people know there's an alarm system there. But we just watched a home invasion that happened out in Chicago area over the past week, where two guys walked up to the front of the home and they had the surgical masks on, right? And one of the guys had the toolbox, a tool bag in his hand, and walked up to the front door, and there was a Ring doorbell there. And the front guy that goes to knock on the door actually went over to ring the Ring doorbell and said to the second guy, "Hey, this is a camera. Don't look at it."
Yeah. Right.
So even though these things are in place, doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to try to accomplish their job. And the thing to remember on the Ring doorbell or security cameras, period, is that they are a great asset to use if you are able to see this person approaching your home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But during the incident, all they're going to capture is the crime being committed. And afterwards, that can be used as evidence against a person because you're able to get videotape, but it's not going to deter or stop anything from happening in the moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And a lot of these cameras, depending on where the angles are, guys, you're not going to necessarily pick up exactly what the person looks like, right? And if it's nighttime, even worse, you're not going to be able to really see much. You'll see body movement, you'll see maybe weapons or the what's happening in the grand scheme of things, but the fine details of facial hair, what their face looks like, any defining marks on their body, you're not going to be able to see much on those cameras. You got to get pretty high resolution, right, Scott, to be able to make any detail out on those. So if you have security cameras around your home, and that's fantastic. Make sure that you have some type of an alert system that tells you when there's motion. And I know a lot of people shut those motion sensors off on the cameras because the wind blows, leaves go by, and they start, having false alarms. But you've got to figure out a way to mount the camera in a way that you'd be able to monitor it and maybe make at least one camera that you're going to have at an approximate height of about 6 feet to 8 feet above in height. You want to try to make it hard where the person can't just reach up and grab it, but you don't want it so high that it's actually angled downward. And if the person's wearing a baseball cap, you're not going to be able to make out their face at all, right? Mm-hmm. So, the angle of where that camera is very important. And that primary camera you can use at the entranceway to your home can be the camera with that motion sensing on, and someone comes into that area, it goes off, it starts recording, and it alerts you that someone's at the door. But here's the deal. Those people, they knocked on the door. Homeowner opens up the door. They storm inside of the house. Now, the homeowner was a pretty big dude, and he fought, man. He beat the crap out of one of these guys, right? But the point is, it didn't stop these guys from trying to enter inside the house. Knowing that there was a big guy that was living there didn't make them stop. I don't even know the outcome if they knew the homeowner or why they picked that home. I will tell you that a majority of home invasions, there is some type of interaction with that person that breaks inside of your home prior to it happening, right? Mm-hmm. Here's an example: the Cheshire home invasion, right? One of the scumbags was in Stop and Shop and saw the daughter and the wife and got fixated on the daughter and ended up following them home. So it could be as simple as just seeing you out someplace and for whatever reason getting fixated on you and thinking that you're going to be the target. So making it hard for them to be able to look at you that way is very important. What are some things you can do? Be aware of your surroundings.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was out social distancing with one of the guys who showed up there on that day. We were talking about it. So yeah, that was horrible.
When the officers that responded that day?
Yeah. It was a sergeant, first day as a sergeant. That's what he goes to.
Wow. So what can you do to make it hard for them to look at you as a victim? Number one, be aware of your surroundings 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. Get your head out of the phone. Stop looking down at the ground or looking at your phone when you're walking to your vehicle. Just showing that confidence of scanning around the parking lot, looking left, looking right. Even when you get out of your car at the supermarket or get out of your car in your own driveway, stop, open the door, and look around. Yeah. Are there any cars that are pulling down the street that I don't recognize, or that car's been behind me since I left the grocery store? Be aware of your surroundings, look around, and just someone that's thinking maybe this is an easy target and they see you being so observant and looking around and checking your surroundings all the time might make them think twice of like, oh, maybe she saw me follow her. Maybe, maybe they got to look at me or they noticed my car. All right, let's just go pick somebody else. Right.
And that too, when you're coming out to the grocery store or whatever you're doing, make sure your strong hand, either if you're a lefty, make sure your left hand or make sure your right hand is always available. I mean, if you have to, someone confronts you right in front of your face, you have that ability to strike them, to do something. If you come out with everything's hand, your groceries in your left hand, you're on your cell phone in your right hand, it's useless. Make sure that strong hand, whatever hand you write with, whatever your strong hand is, that it's available. We're always taught your right hand, your flashlight in your left hand, your right hand, your gun hand is always available for that type of interaction.
Yeah,
So,
no, absolutely. So carrying those bags out in the non-dom hand is very important. Matter of fact, in class this past Saturday, our online class, I worked power tools, dominant arm striking. So your non-dom arm is either hurt, injured, or you're carrying something you don't want to give up. Maybe you're carrying your child, grandchild, and you got to strike with your dominant hand. So some great drills to work. Michael Kahn is saying hello. Mike can't be with us tonight. He's working. He's on the job. So Mike, we miss you. And thanks for saying hello. Jay Bodell, love the patches on the wall, huh?
Jay Budell, yeah, buddy.
Yes, Jay. Here, I'm going to put this up on the screen. Love the patches. Oh, look, he's got the patch on his profile.
Nice.
I'll send you some more. Thanks, Jay, brother. I appreciate it. Hope everyone's well in the family over there. We'll talk soon, man. So we're talking right now about sexual assault awareness month and safety tips, and we were just discussing about being aware of your surroundings at all times when you're going into the supermarket and you're coming home. Make sure your doors are locked when you are home. Make sure your windows are not easily not easily accessible to be opened or pushed in or screened to be pulled out in the middle of the night for them to enter inside of your home. These are all, extremely important things to be aware of. Do a scan around your home before you go to bed. What windows did you leave open? Check the doors.
Yeah.
Man, I must go check my door 3 or 4 times before I go to bed every night, because I'll go lay down for bed. I'm like, all right, is the door really locked? Did I check it again? And I'll go check it again, right? I'll check the vehicles. It's just habit, just the way my mind thinks. So be smart, guys, and check those doors, check those windows, and don't make it easy for someone to enter inside of your home. Your body language, right? Body language is extremely important. Make sure you show confidence. Like we mentioned before, don't have your head down looking at the phone as you're walking forward. Keep your eyes up. Scan around the parking lot, and just be aware of your surroundings can help you get out of a lot of situations. When somebody approaches you, right? Let's say someone is trying to decide if you're going to be their victim. You're at the grocery store, you're at the mall, you're coming out to your vehicle after work, it's late at night, and someone is approaching you. There is nothing wrong with showing some good confidence and actually being a little bit rude as someone is approaching you. You don't know who this person is. You could kind of get a little idea as they're approaching you sometimes with their demeanor, the way that they're carrying themselves, the way that they're walking. And it's okay to say, stop, don't come any closer. What can I do for you? What do you need? And being able to command a little bit of that authority. Make sure you get in a good stance so that you're able to present yourself with some confidence. You don't want to kind of look over your shoulder and say, can I help you? You actually want to turn and face that individual and be ready that, hey, what can I do for you? And show that confidence that I'm willing to fight. And just that exusion of confidence that you show when you turn and you look at the person could make that person think, maybe this isn't the right person. And they'll say, hey, what time is there? Can you show me where's Dunkin' Donuts around here? And they'll move on their merry way. Right.
Eye contact is huge.
It's so much is.
Victims don't show the eye contact. They either look to the ground or they're looking away, and don't turn around and walk away from the person.
Yeah.
Very important. Don't do that. Don't give them your back. And that's just, it just opens up, an attack from the back. So.
Right. So if you're getting inside your vehicle, they're still standing behind you. Guess what? You're not doing. You're not getting inside your vehicle yet. Right. And, tell them, back off. Hey, listen, as a female, why not say, excuse me, you're making me feel really uncomfortable. Can you please back off or go away? Any guy in his white mind that's a gentleman is going to feel really bad that he just made you feel uncomfortable and is going to go on his merry way and walk away. If this guy starts saying things to you like, what do you mean? I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not going to do any harm to you. I'm not a bad guy. Those are all signs that this guy is not a good guy and he does have bad intentions. And you need to be prepared that things could potentially get physical at that point if he doesn't start walking away. So showing that confidence and calling the person out is really important as well. Right, Scott?
Right. Let's be honest. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has the time. No one's going to come up and say, oh, you have the time. And that's BS. So just be stern, get into a good stance, look them in the eyes, and, be forthcoming with them. Just give it to them.
Patrick brings up a really good point, and it could be as simple as this, right? Patrick says even turning and saying hi can be all it takes to disarm someone. Right. Mm-hmm. So just acknowledging them and seeing them behind and just saying, hey, how are you? That could help as well. What problem sometimes, Patrick, is that female to male, that could also be a sign of like, oh, maybe she thinks I'm cute, or maybe I can engage this person a little bit more. So it all depends on your comfort level of how far you want to take this and what that person looks like and how well you feel you can carry yourself, right? And handle yourself, right? Have you had combative training and self-defense training? Are you ready in your mind mentally to go to that state of, physical fight and being able to defend yourself? Those are all things that are going to play a role in how you're going to respond to this, right? So being aware of your surroundings, showing confidence, engaging the individual that's approaching you that you're unsure of their intentions are all extremely important. Know your area. If you're going into New Haven and you're going to be going out to a restaurant, go on Google Maps, find out the area and the landscape of where the parking garage is, where the restaurant is, and know your way around a little bit. So become familiar with the area as much as you can. And to be honest with you, if you're going to New Haven or Bridgeport, and sorry if there's any New Haven or Bridgeport officers of ours that are online listening, and actually, if you train with us, you'll back me up on this 100%. Don't go to New Haven by yourself at 10 o'clock at night and go walking through the streets to go to a restaurant 5 blocks away. It's just not something you should be doing. Go with a group and travel there with a group. Make sure you stay together as a group and leave as a group, so that there's power in numbers, and you can see each other and be with each other and help each other out if anything was to arise, right? I think that's important. But if you have to travel by yourself, you're a nurse, you're working at Yale, it's at nighttime, and you're parked in the garage and you feel uncomfortable walking out to the garage, call the security department, ask them to escort you out, right? So that they can walk you out and make sure you get to your car safely. And I know that there's a few nurses that work with us that have said, oh, sometimes it takes so long for them to come up, and I just want to get home. Well, you make that call half hour early before you're ready to go, if you know it usually takes a while. But your safety is more important than taking that risk of walking out by yourself and something happening. So just be smart and be aware. Develop your intuition, right? If something doesn't feel right, listen to that inner gut feeling, listen to that intuition, and trust that feeling. How many times have you ever been in a situation you didn't listen to that inside voice, and then afterwards you kicked yourself and you're like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have gone out with that guy, or oh, I knew that date with that girl wasn't going to work out, right? It's that inside voice that was telling you something that maybe subconsciously you didn't pick up on consciously. So listen to that inside voice and develop your intuition and trust your intuition. Which brings me to another point on our safety tips. If you have girlfriends and guys that you travel with to go out for dinner, go out for a night on the town, or go out shopping, and a guy comes up and approaches you, and you just don't feel comfortable about this individual, whoever it might be, and your friend starts disqualifying, saying, oh, he's cute, you don't think that way, or oh, my friend knows him, he went to school with him, he's a good guy. Don't let that disqualify your feelings, and don't start thinking in your mind, oh, all right, I'm probably just thinking, wrong. Maybe I shouldn't think that way. And you start disqualifying things, and then bad things can happen. And I say the same thing to parents. If you get a call from your daughter saying, hey, I'm at, the synagogue, or I'm at this church event, or I'm away at camp, and this camp counselor, this volunteer is making me feel uncomfortable, you should listen to that and don't disqualify it. Don't say, hey, he's the priest at the church, or the pastor, or the rabbi, or the camp counselor, or the person that runs this business, or, it doesn't matter. For some reason, they're making your daughter or even son feel uncomfortable. You need to listen to that, and you need to tell them, listen, I hear you loud and clear. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. If you feel uncomfortable, don't be alone with them, okay? And if anything else happens, call me back. Or in my case, I'd go pick them up. I'd say, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Let me get you out of there. I'm not going to put you in a situation where you feel uncomfortable and don't feel safe, right? And remove them out of that situation. So as a parent, I'm telling you, please don't disqualify those feelings that your kids could have when they tell you they don't feel comfortable, or they're creeped out by a teacher or a coach, or someone in a social environment, and listen to that. And maybe it's not even an older person. It could be your daughter goes on a date with somebody, right? And maybe it's so popular now, Scott, people dating off of Instagram and Snapchat and meeting out, right?
Yeah.
So
there's so many of those sites. It's you don't know who you're dealing with.
No. So if your daughter goes out on a date with someone and she's like, hey, I don't feel uncomfortable, or I feel uncomfortable in this situation, get her out of there, right? Go pick her up. Yeah, it's just it's important to make sure that you listen to your friends, you listen to your family members when they call you and they're telling you they feel uncomfortable about a certain situation or someone or situation that they're in, right? Let's go into our next tip here. This is a big one for me. Have a fighting spirit, right? So a few minutes ago, I talked about you're having that mentality of that I'm prepared to fight. I'm prepared to go as far as I need to do to make sure that I'm going to go home tonight and I'm willing to fight for it. Having that fighting spirit is extremely important. And it's not something that you can have a conversation with yourself right before it happens or while it's happening.
Exactly.
Right. So every person that comes into my training center to train hears me preach this many, many, many times during their training time with me. When I train law enforcement agencies, or I go to a police academy, or I'm training military units, same exact thing that I say, that you have to have a talk with yourself personally about how far you're willing to go to survive a fight. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to take someone's life to save your family member's life, to save your life? Now, I know everyone that's watching this right now is like, yeah, hell yeah, no problem, I'll do it. But will you actually follow through? And can you imagine in your mind right now, or after we finish off with this live chat tonight or during the week, have a few moments with yourself and think, if someone broke into my home and was attacking me, would I pick up that brick and would I hit them over the head to make sure that they can't get to my kids? Will I pull my firearm out and will I pull that trigger in order to save my life and save my family's life? And I know you all have the mindset of, yes, I will. But when it's time in the moment of that person coming at you and you know you're going to have to take someone's life to save yours and save your families, will you be willing to do it? And will you be able to have that fighting spirit to neutralize that threat? That's an important conversation to have with yourselves now and not in the moment. So if you're training with firearms, if you are taking classes with us, or you're in a Krav Maga school, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, and you're training, and you're training for the purpose of not only getting in really good shape, because we all want to be in good shape, but you're also training for the purpose of self-defense, is how far are you willing to go in that fight? And do you have that fighting spirit to be able to finish off that fight? Part of the reason why we do these stress inoculation drills in our firearm training in our camps and on the training floor and in our training centers is to put you in such a state of fatigue and you're a little disoriented, your heart rate's up, and seeing you be able to continue to perform and finish the task off we're asking you to do tells us as instructors that when you are pushed to your limits, you're going to continue to push through. Right. So it's important. And Scott, man, you promote this all the time, is stress inoculation when you're doing your drills, firearm training, combative training, self-defense training, and how important it is to know that you could succeed underneath that stress. Right.
Because if you just go to I say this all the time, if you go to the range every whatever month or two, shoot a still target that's just sitting there, yeah, everybody's good at it. But when you're in a fist fight for 3 minutes, or you're rolling on the ground for 3 minutes, and then have to get up and try to do like your fine motor skills, you're gonna realize that you're not gonna be able to do that. So, very important, stress inoculation. If you don't train with stress, if the situation ever was to be presented and your adrenaline and everything goes haywire, you're gonna fall back to I'm shooting a still target.
Right.
You're going to fall back to where the bad guy is just sitting there with waiting for you to hit him. That's not the thing. You got the guy moving, coming at you, swinging, all this stuff. So if you don't train under some type of inoculation, whether it's you run up the stairs and run back down, or you do 20 push-ups, or again, you fight for 2 minutes and then do whatever, you're going to fall back to that. Well, what do? I go to the range twice a year. I don't even know where my gun is. I don't even know what kind of gun I have. I think it's a 9mm. I don't know. But I shoot a still target, and I'm pretty good. Well, anybody can hit a still target. But again, get into a fight, get your adrenaline up, and then that'll show you how you react under that type of stress if someone were to come after you. So absolutely. Very important.
Yep, 100%. It's important to make sure that you're doing that stress and you're working through it and making sure that you're able to respond. If you guys haven't been on my website yet, go over to the website and look at the on-demand videos. And you're going to see a video that I did called Adrenaline Dump, Fight or Flight. And it talks about what happens during that stressful moment, right? And you become blind, deaf, and stupid. And I break that down for you exactly what that means. So if you haven't watched that yet, go to the website, look for the video, or if you're on our YouTube right now, you'll probably find it on our YouTube, Adrenaline Dump. Watch that after we're done here. And that will talk a little bit about what happens to your body and to your mind during that onset of that fight. And being able to work through that is extremely important, guys. Guys, if you have any questions for us, please put them in the comments. If you have anything you'd like to make a comment on or tell us a little bit about your training or things you've done, we would love to hear about it. Please put them in the comments. We'd love to hear from our fans and people watching, and certainly answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, and not to toot our own horn, but this is the training you get if you come to one of the camps. We don't just shoot still targets and this is great. Hey, okay, high five, you got them all in there. We do an obstacle course and everything else that you've learned throughout the week, and then you finish with the obstacle course. It's very stressful, and I think there's several. We've spoken to several people who said that on the air when we talked to them, and it was intense. It's right. I mean, it's not we're screaming and beating you up and everything. It's just the adrenaline's going to be up. You're going to react to the adrenaline, and we're going to react to the adrenaline. And then, so when you come to our camp, and you're not going to get the basic, okay, finger on the trigger, go ahead, pull the trigger. Okay. You're going to get some high octane training. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. And we even have this conversation that when you leave our camps, you put more lead downrange and go through more tactical movements than a lot of patrol officers go through in how many years of their training, right? I mean,
60 rounds once a year,
right?
That's all they shoot, but you can't do that at the ranges around here. You can't do the ranges anywhere,
right?
So. Again, it's very safe. We're very safe. We have, our instructors are good. We're very safe up there. So it's not like we're going K-wire. It's structured stress. That's what it is.
But it helps you realize how you're going to respond, how you're going to act. And believe it or not, everyone, when you are training like that, and then the situation actually happens, you're going to actually be more calmer functioning. Not saying you're not going to be freaking out, right? But you're going to be calmer in your motor skills and your movements because you practice it. It's what you do. Kind of like when we work verbalization drills in our classes, and we talk about the onset of an altercation and someone coming at us, maybe saying, "Hey, you cut me off on the highway. I'm going to kick your rear," right? Or someone approaching you because you bumped into them and you're walking through a restaurant and they spilled their beer. They're intoxicated. Like, "You spilled my beer. I'm going to kick your rear." How do you verbalize? How do you try to de-escalate those things and try to talk the person down a little bit? If you practice those things, then when it actually happens, you actually have that go-to verbalization that you use, you've trained, and hopefully it's going to help you resolve that situation calmer and easier. Because what does everyone have a tendency to do? If someone walks up to you, Scott, and most guys, they get bumped in the restaurant on the shoulder and you spill the drink, what are they going to do? They're going to turn off and pop their chest a little bit. Like, what?
Yeah.
Right? When the reality is, why are you going to pop your chest? Do you really want to fight? You got your wife, you've got your kids, they're sitting down at a booth, you're walking back from the bathroom. Maybe it's as simple as, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. I was distracted, man. Let me buy you another drink," right? And walk away without having to get physical. But a lot of people get this posture or this, like, "What the hell, man," type of mentality. It's some of these things just walk away from, man. It's not worth it, right? What are you doing?
That whole inflated ego, the ego trip that they're on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? Let's talk about the inflated ego. How many people actually have an inflated ego that they can fight and can't even fight at all? Right? Exactly. They start running their mouth.
Yeah. Then they call the police on you for beating them up.
Right.
Even though they started it.
Yeah. So it's so just be aware and try to walk away from those situations. But guys, if you have any comments or questions for us, put them in the comments on social media We'll try to answer some of those in a few minutes. We're going to be finishing off here in about 5-10 minutes. We're breaking tonight's segment up into two. So we're talking about sexual assault awareness and safety tips. We mentioned a few already. We've got a bunch more we're going to go over. We might hit a few more tonight, and some of them we'll go over next week on Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We also went over some statistics earlier. If you didn't see that because you jumped on late, watch the replay afterwards, and you'll see some pretty nifty statistics that you can. I got to put this up for Mike Kahn. There we go. Hugs, not punches. There we go. Absolutely. But
Mike looks like he's 12 in that video, in that picture.
In that picture, yeah. So, guys, just statistics are important. Watch the replay if you haven't seen them. And we just gave you some safety tips, and we talk a little bit now about self-defense. So, when is it okay to fight? When is it okay to say, all right, I'm going to hit this person in a sexual assault or attempted sexual assault type of situation, right? After you make that statement of no, stop, from that point on, it's game on, right? And what you find is that, and I've worked a lot with the battered women's shelter. You know, Scott, we do a lot of work with the Chrysalis House, and we've done those. We offer our services pro bono to the Chrysalis House. And Chrysalis House, what they'll do is they'll take a wife and children into protective custody when things have gotten really bad. And then what we'll do is we'll come in and we'll do a private session with them and try to help build their confidence. And there's some heart-wrenching stories that we hear when we're working with these individuals. And what you have to know is that it's not okay what they're doing to you. And you have to realize that no is no, and saying no 10 times or 15 times or 20 times shouldn't have to happen. One no, verbalizing it, saying don't, this is it, and put your line in the sand, and then stand by that. And if that person continues to be aggressive, then to me, it's game on, right? Mm-hmm. Right, Scott? 100%. So knowing where that line in the sand is, and knowing that it's okay to respond. We do a college prep self-defense class every year to prep girls and guys that are going away to college, right? Now, this year, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be doing it online. We'll be announcing it hopefully within the next few days or during this week, where you're going to be able to do an online course with us. You'll get the same practical skills you would get in our training center, but now your sons and daughters can train with us virtually online and get the college prep self-defense class. In that class, I find a lot of girls and daughters asking about, well, what if I don't want to hit the person? What if they're an acquaintance? I went to school with them. What if they're the captain of the football team? And I remember there was one individual, and I can't tell you who he is, but he's a high-level person working for a federal agency. And he brought his daughter in to train with me. And his daughter looked at him and said, "Daddy, but, what if I hurt this guy? What's going to happen?" And he says, "What's going to happen is that you're going to call me. I'm going to fly to your school, and we're going to have a meeting with the school, and we're going to give you a big hug and tell you did the right thing. All the other legalities and all that stuff we'll figure out after, but you're safe, right? You didn't put yourself in harm's way. You stood up yourself. You didn't become a victim. We'll figure all the other stuff out afterwards." So you have to realize that it's okay to defend yourself. It's okay to hit this person and not become the victim. And don't think about, oh, am I going to get in trouble? Oh, is he going to be mad at me? Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be putting you in this position at all, and you should get angry about it, right?
It's him putting you in a position. He shouldn't have put you in this position. Right. So don't worry about him being mad at you. If he was a real friend, he shouldn't be putting you in that position.
Exactly. So flip that switch. It's time to put that anger button on and realize that you're not going to be the victim, and unleash some fury on him if you need to, right? And those are skills we're going to go over in some classes, right? Jennifer here. Adam, how are you, Adam? Thanks for saying hello. We appreciate it. Hope all is well down there in Greenville, or if you're over in Shirley. So Jennifer's here talking about the women's shelter. Increase in domestic. So the question is, and Jennifer, you bring up a really good point. Yes, there has been. So Jennifer says, has there been an increase in domestic violence calls since the pandemic? Yes. Hell yeah. Yeah. And you know what's really concerning? And we had this private conversation, Scott, and Mike was with us this past week. What I feel bad about are the people that are stuck at home with an abusive dad, abusive mother, that have no place to get away from it, right? That are in these situations, and now they are not able to go to school to escape it for a while. They're not able to go to work to escape the situation they're in. They are stuck in these situations, and my heart goes out to those people. So if you happen to be watching this, I pray for you, and I hope that you have the power to power through this and to get the skills you need to be able to defend yourself and get yourself out of the situation. And if you need resources, if you need someone to call, reach out to us. Send us a message on Facebook privately. Send us a message through the website, and we'll put you in touch with the right people to make sure you're taken care of and you're safe. So if you are watching this and you need help, let us know. Right? We'll get you the help that you need. Scott, anything else you want to add before we finish off today?
No, but yeah, you are right about the domestics. Domestics up, violation, protective orders are up. So it's sad, but
right.
It's like, what do you? I mean, we almost saw it coming, like with this whole pandemic going on.
Right.
Everybody's trapped in the house, So it is sad. My heart goes out for that family you mentioned, those families you mentioned. But there is hope. And again, reach out to us if you can, if you need to, and we'll send you in the right direction. But
yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're going to be signing off in a minute or two. Anything else you want to say or say hello or ask us any questions, feel free to put them in the comments on whatever social media channel you happen to be watching from right now. We appreciate you joining us. If you're jumping on late, you didn't see the beginning of this, watch the replay, because we put up some statistics I think will be very important for everyone to see and to be aware of. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so tonight's theme and next Sunday's theme is going to be sexual assault awareness as we go over more statistics, safety tips, and self-defense tips next week as well, right? Jeff, thank you. Jeff says, great presentation. Appreciate that, Jeff. Hopefully we get this information into the right hands. So please share this post, this video on social media. Let people know about it. Let them know that we're going to be doing a college prep self-defense course. No, you do not need to be going away to college to be able to take it. So if you're a female that would like to take this course, or you are a freshman in high school or 7th grade and you want to take this college prep course, it is going to be something that's going to be really empowering. It's going to change your life, and it's going to make you understand your capabilities and your confidence to be able to deal with a dangerous situation. So please let people know about these seminars that are going to be up and coming soon, and we'll get more information to you guys as soon as we can. Scott, anything else you want to add on before we finish off here?
Yeah, we closed up with the Elmwood Cares, the give back to the nurses. If you were able to donate, I greatly appreciate it. Again, my wife and my kids, they decided to start a benefit to give back to the the medical care workers. So they were able to raise $325, which is going to go to Sergio's Pizza, and they're going to provide hot meals for the nurses and doctors at Yale. So
excellent. Yeah,
thank you if you're able to donate. That's great. So
that's awesome. Great. Anyone who made that donation after our last live stream last week, we really appreciate it. We appreciate your support and your following. If there's any content that you'd like us to go over next week for our sexual assault preparedness live stream, send it to us in a private chat through our social media channels, or go to our website, t4survival.com, and you could put them, start a chat with us or put them in the comments there, and we'll be sure to touch upon them next Sunday. Guys, I hope you're being safe. I hope you're making wise decisions. Head on a swivel out there. Remember, T4 Survival stands for Training for Survival, and we hope you guys are safe, and we'll look forward to see you next Sunday, 7 o'clock. Mike will be with us. Scott will be there, and I'll be there too, ready to hit the part 2 of this next week. Guys, have a good night. Be safe, everyone. We'll see you all soon.
Good night.